In this video, it's the third video in a series where I'm talking about this article that has over 6 million views on Twitter. It went so viral. It's about the great feminization of the workplace and how men feel like they're getting pushed out of the workplace and women are getting preferential treatment. And it went so viral that it even had its own like trending tag that actually was created by Twitter because it was such a popular thing. Hundreds of thousands of people have reacted to it. I've been covering it in a few of my previous videos. Now, before we go through the article itself and I break down exactly what she's been saying, as you can see here, I just want to let you know that I am a career coach and I specifically work with freedom-focused men to deal with a lot of the fake empathy, the soft leadership, the difficult, awkward office politics you have to deal with, help you outsmart office politics, take control of your career. And I spent over 10 years working at Goldman, Morgan Stanley and many other finance firms to help you with these skills. You know, I have coaching programs, I have courses throughout that coaching to help you deal with these dynamics, to help you rebuild leverage, outsmart bias systems and earn more money without letting these type of people take advantage of you. So let's talk about how the workplace has become more feminized and more men are feeling uncomfortable in the workplace environment. So this article goes through, if you haven't seen my previous videos, how the workplace dynamics been changed to suit women. Now, and more men are feeling out of place. Here she says, the problem is not that women are less talented than men, or even that female modes of interaction are inferior in any objective sense. The problem is that female modes of interaction are just not well suited to accomplishing goals of many major institutions. We have academia that is majority female. And if your academia isn't pursuing truth, is caring about politically correct opinions, females' emotions and feelings, then what good is it? If you have journalists that can't deal with difficult dynamics and look for politically correct opinions, that's going to alienate people. If you have a business and it's focused on feminized, inward-focused bureaucracy, it's also going to stagnate. And this is what we see time and time again. In effect, what ends up happening is you have the whole dynamic changes to suit women, suit the woke agenda, suit politically correctness, becoming soft, right? So when women dominate the workplace, it makes everything it's about feelings, not facts. It's about feeling good, making other people feel good, being popular, getting attention, getting external validation, rather than actually efficiency and productivity. Here she says here, putting more women in the workplace, feminists in the workplace. Feminization in the workplace is not an organic result of women outcompeting men. It's artificially a social engineering that is putting women above men, right, and pushing men out. That's the thing. It's not that men can't compete with women. It's that men are fed up with this unfair treatment, right, this biased treatment in terms of women or the female social dynamic being biased in their favor or unnaturally forced on men. That's why men don't feel like the workplace culture is very inviting for them. It's a clear bias favoring the woman. And there's so many biases, there's so many discrimination laws that are favoring women over men. It's illegal to employ too few women at your company. If women feel underrepresented, especially in higher management, there could be a lawsuit waiting to happen. Employers give women jobs and promotions they would not otherwise have gotten simply to keep the numbers up. And that's the truth. There's hiring and promotion bias that companies have that they don't announce publicly, but in many cases in recent years, because of the DEI trend, they're announcing it publicly. Oh, we're hiring more women, we have targets to put more women in positions of leadership. And it's like, why? I don't get that treatment as a man. I don't get that treatment as someone who's a so-called ethnic minority, right? See, it just becomes a bit ridiculous that you have to put up with it time and time again. And it is impacting people. It's not just like something you see online with a celebrity like Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, or a celebrity divorce, or a woman accusing a celebrity with the Me Too allegations. Here we have Texaco, Goldman Sachs, Novartis, Coca-Cola. These are all companies that paid large settlements due to bias favoring women in hiring and promotions, right? Anti-discrimination laws that she says here, it makes every workplace feminized because you have to be biased in women just to make sure you don't get sued. That's why you have a funny tweet here. Funny comment here. A woman can sue their bosses for running a workplace that feels like a frat house, like a college guy type of environment. But men can't sue women when the workplace feels like a kindergarten or a preschool, right? Naturally, employers err on the side of making the office softer or more comfortable for women. So it's women that are thriving more in the modern workplace because the workplace culture is biased in their favor. It's not that they're out competing men, it's that the rules in the corporate environment has been changed to favor women. We have Fisher Kin who says, a lot of people are promoting this article for good reason. is compelling. The point is worth emphasizing. On their way up, women complain that men are holding them down. But when women have these management roles, they appear to do the same thing as men in the sense of showing preference towards other women. And I've seen it all the time. Typically an affluent white female liberal, white feminist, she will become a manager and she'll just hire people who look like her. There'll be other white feminists. She'll hire them and she'll get these pushover weak guys who might have good technical skills, and she can just use them to prop her up, prop the other woman up. I've seen it time and time again. And particularly one of the roles I worked towards the end of my time at an American investment bank, it just became so obvious that we had a change in management. One of the senior guys, he'd left. He left to go to a smaller bank, and then once the woman moved up in position of leadership, the guys were getting pushed out. A couple of layoffs, a couple of them weren't progressing in their career. They moved to another company, and she would just hire more and more white women. It was just became a monopoly of white women, and these kind of weak, soft, white liberal middle-aged guys who were just kind of doing her bidding and doing the technical work. Then we've got someone else here called Kofi Anon. I don't know if you know this, but he's kind of big in the right-wing Twitter space. He has 90,000 subscribers. Here we've got a woman saying, much to say about this article. If her premises were true, the best advice for a woman would be to try to be as masculine as possible. How awful to be to have to put up with such a contemptible creature as she takes woman to be. The point is, right, what she's trying to say in this article is that if you want more women in the workplace, and you're going to have, in order for work to actually work, you're going to have women who are going to have to be able to compete with men. And the thing is, right, what you're doing in this work environment is you're creating an environment where men have to act like women because you feminize a workplace environment, right? But if you want things to be productive, not for things to be biased in favor of men, you have to make it more of a masculine work environment in terms of getting the work done and less about emotions and things like this, right? So this is the whole point here. It looks like women are kind of driving men away by imposing these feminine norms that were previously male institutions. And she words it here quite well. What man wants to work in a field where his traits are not welcome? What self-respecting male graduate student would pursue a career in academia when his peers would ostracize him, like women would try to cancel him, because he has different views, he has disagreements, and they say he's speaking too bluntly, or he's speaking too directly, he's too aggressive, he needs to soften his tone, he can't have this controversial opinion. And that's what's happened throughout your society. The woke culture, which is instituted and mainly enforced by weak liberal men and feminist women, has completely destroyed every aspect of your Western culture. It's destroyed architecture, it's destroyed movies and music and the work environment and the gym environment. It's all become pandering to these weak men, these feminist women who get special treatment. And what she's saying here is that wokeness is because you've got more women in the workplace, right? You can't complain about wokeness or try to remove wokeness unless you create a less of feminized work environment. Here we've got someone here called Charles Murray, who I've seen his name before. I think he's a right-wing commentator. I'm persuaded that feminization is the most opportunist trend in American culture. And this is an excellent explanation of why. It is wonderfully written. Women can sue their bosses for running a workplace that feels like a frat house, but men can't sue women for running their workplace like a kindergarten or a preschool, right? And this has 6.5 million views and 16,000 likes and 1,000 retweets, right? The point I'm making with mentioning all of that, I want you to think about all the people you work with on a day-to-day basis. How uncomfortable are they with being there? How many men are you working with in the office probably have these views and they have to post it on Twitter, they have to retweet something on Twitter under a different name, have to use an anonymous account, have to like a tweet like this, and give this tweet 6.5 million views because they can't do it at work. They're basically censored, so they're kind of limited to expressing their opinion on Twitter, right? Here we've got John Carter. He says, it's illegal to make women feel bad, and as a result, society's collapsing. And that's really it. I mean, lots of people want to blame the collapse of Western civilization on mass migration, and I don't support mass migration and things like that. But the point is, why do you have all these ridiculous beliefs that will lead to having open borders, lead to having men dropping out, lead to a failure to form healthy families? It's feminism, right? It's the breakdown of the family structure. It's giving people free handouts because, we feel sorry for them. It's just become ridiculous. And this is what has ruined the workplace environment too. Like I say, it's the work, the gym, any social aspect. It's all about political correctness now. And then we got a tweet from Empty America. I think it's a knife manufacturer. And what he's saying is, it's pretty deep when you think about it, in the sense that This has almost 1 million views from an account that isn't that big, in the sense that, the workplace dynamic have changed so dramatically. How many people can you have posting this and agreeing with this until you see some societal change? Now, what are some of the solutions that are changing, that are posed, right, when it comes to these type of dynamics? In this article, she says, right now we have a nominally meritocratic system where it's illegal for women to lose. So again, we have meritocracy, but actually it's quite biased in favor of women. We can make it legal to have masculine office culture again. That would be good. Remove the HR Karens who have power to boss people around. I think people will be surprised to discover how much of our current feminization is attributable to institutional change, like the advent of HR, which created legal changes, which we can also use the law to reverse. The power of HR Karens, all these negative aspects you see of woke culture in the work environment. She's saying if you walk that back, you'll improve the work environment, have more men in the workplace, and have more productivity and actual results rather than just political correctness. She says, I'm not just a woman, I'm also someone who has some disagreeable opinions, who will find it hard to flourish in this society, even as a woman, because we can't have conflict and disagreement, because everything's so soft and consensus driven like the feminists want it to be. I'm a mother of sons. I know my sons can't reach their full potential if we have a feminized world and work environment. We're all dependent on institutions like the legal system, scientific research, politics, and if everything's poisoned by this feminized work environment, it's going to impact all of those things. And this is what's interesting, because I've seen a lot of career women, and I remember working at a particular investment bank, and the woman who was leading it, she had 2 sons. And she was giving us a big, ridiculous lecture about feminism, how it's a good thing. And she's like, I don't want there to be bias against men. I'm really pro-woman, but I don't hate men. I've got 2 sons. I want them to do well in their career. And it's like, tough shit, The same dynamics that have given you preferential treatment in your career and biased treatment are the same reasons that are going to be biased against your sons. So the sins of the mother are going to visit the sons, because your sons are going to be disadvantaged by the same advantage you're getting by the preferential treatment as an affluent white female liberal. It just is what it is. Let's listen to this final comment here.
Civilizations that devalue masculinity and prop up femininity, they don't survive long. John Glubb wrote about this decades ago in The Fate of Empires, and he noted that an increase in the influence of women in public life has often been associated with national decline. And the most glaringly obvious point is what happens when women prioritize work over doing what nature gave only them the ability to do, which of course is to have children. And so, to put it very bluntly, the female influence is simultaneously impacting these institutions, negatively of course, while also ensuring our extinction. But let me know your thoughts below. I'd like to hear your opinions on this. And this is something that's been clearly obvious to me for a long time, the HRification of the workplace. Now, having women around can be nice, it mixes things up a bit, but men need to stay in charge. Patriarchy needs to return. This is not a patriarchal country. No matter how much the feminists say it is, they're lying. And just remember, it was men who built and defended this great nation. And that remains true still to this day. But what has changed is women have gained more political and social power, which has undoubtedly coincided with the decrease in this nation's prosperity and health.
Right? That's the reality of dealing with these dynamics. And there's so many men waking up to this. This guy went through the article too. He has 93,000 views. I went through it. The article itself has over 6 million views. It's just a reality of what we're dealing with. And that's what I'd encourage you to think about, right? And like I say, I offer career coaching to help you deal with these very difficult workplace dynamics. Link in description to speak with me directly.